Welcome in, Crack fans, to our look at the history of teenage success on the WTA Tour. What we're going to be doing in this series, looking at the 6 teenagers currently ranked in the WTA Top 100, talking about their resumes, talk about how those resumes compare historically, and of course, offer projection for how they will do moving forward. With that said, let's get into it. Of course, the first thing that comes to mind when you think about 18-year-old Emma Raducanu is her run to the 2021 U.S. Open title. Simply put, she was spectacular. She plays 10 total matches, does not drop a set on her way to the winner's circle. But of course, that's not the only success she's had in her pro career. She jumped to everyone's attention at the 2021 Wimbledon, making the 4th round in her maiden slam main draw. Of course, she also made the final at the Chicago 125K event in the lead up to the U.S. Open. Happened to lose a 3-set final to a fellow teenager by the name of Clara Tauson, who we'll discuss later on in this show. But you look for Emma Raducanu, she's been outstanding throughout her career. It's a small sample size. She's played fewer than 100 matches, but you look overall across levels, she's 67-20. That's a 77% win percentage, ranks 5th amongst teenagers in WTA Tour history. She trails Hingis, she trails Seles, she trails Serena, she trails Sharapova. That's it. And of course, those players played over 150, over 200 matches, most if not all of them at the WTA Tour level. But Raducanu's only allowed to play the competition she's allowed to face, and of course age restrictions have been a part of Emma Raducanu's story, and of course those age restrictions came as a way of trying to protect WTA players. It's not Raducanu's fault she hasn't been able to play a full schedule since she was 16 years old, and it's not her fault that some of those matches, given the current structure on tour, have to come at the ITF level. But every phase of the game, whether it's the ITFs, whether it's the 125Ks, obviously as we saw in New York, if it's the Grand Slams, Emma Raducanu has answered that question. And again, that 77% win percentage, it ranks 1st amongst all of the current teenagers, all 6 of them on in the WTA Tour Top 100 right now. You look for Emma Raducanu, of course, only the one title in her career at the WTA level, but it's the biggest of all of the teenagers, as it's the one that came in New York. You look for her, that's her only only WTA Tour level quarterfinal, but of course, again, she just hasn't played that many matches leading up to her run in New York. You look at the sample size, it's so small for her. 11-2 right now in her career against top 100 players. Of course, that 846 number would rank quite highly in the all-time list. It ranks 1st amongst the current crop of teenagers. Against the top 50, she's 7-0. Against the top 20, she's 2-0. Small sample sizes, but it works, and that's why you want to look at the advanced metrics for these teenagers. Again, you look across levels for Emma Raducanu, she leads in a lot of categories. Hold percentage, 77.4. That's more than 6% higher than the next closest teenager in Clara Tauson. That's 1st amongst this teenager group. You look best first serve percentage, 70.4%. That belongs to Emma Raducanu. Her her second serve percentage ranks 4th. That's the one category where she's lowest, because she's 1st in break percentage as well at 44.5%. The advanced metrics, the results, and of course the eye test suggests success is in the future for teenager Emma Raducanu. And what's so nice about her game is just how easy she makes everything look. The fluidity out of the corners, the success she's had on serve is a byproduct of the fact that her serve's able to create +1 chances. The second serve sometimes sits up there to attack, but she's 18 years old, and just the way she's able to place that ball so well, the depth she's able to get on that second serve, the way she's able to push into the court, and her ability to go down the line on both the forehand and the backhand wing. Of course, you'd love to see her get more comfortable at the net, but what percentage of players wouldn't you say that about? There's so much to enjoy about 18-year-old Emma Raducanu's game, and again, it's such a small sample size, but you look for her now, into the WTA top 30, meaning she's never going to have to worry about getting into events again. The other thing she'll never have to worry about, if she for some reason wouldn't get into an event, she'll get a wild card to whatever she wants to play now. She's a Grand Slam champion, and of course the question for all of us, how does she deal with that hype? That's something we're still going to all have to learn. And and it's beholden on us not to put too much pressure on her shoulders. But again, you look at the Grand Slam teenage champions. I went back. I looked over the years. Yeah, Serena won a title. Yeah, Sharapova won 2 titles. Hingis won 5 titles. Seles won 8 Grand Slam titles. That's really it. Capriati wasn't able to do it. Yeah, Clijsters, I believe, Enin as well, were able to get to finals, but they weren't able to get over that hump. Simona Halep, she didn't have that sort of success. I think she made a 3rd round as a teenager. That was it. Caroline Wozniacki made a final, didn't win a title, and Raducanu was able to get over that hump already. Of course, you look at some of the recent teenagers' successes on tour. Bianca Andreescu, she's been exceptional in a small sample size. I think that's probably the best comp for Raducanu right now, just given how limited we've seen from both of them. But we saw when Andreescu was playing her best tennis in Miami this year, even coming off of injury, she was able to make a final. And so, her success has been able to translate. Iga Swiatek, only WTA player to make the 4th round at every slam this season. She's been a top 10 player by every metric. Her success as a teenager has translated. And again, it's a small sample size, but by the numbers, Raducanu's ahead of both of those players, both from the analytics and obviously with the U.S. Open result and what she was able to do. So the numbers suggest for Raducanu, you look overall, again, it's a small sample size, but in the measurement of players I went after, I think I measured 20 players in total. And to learn about all of those players, go check the intro video that we did. But you look for Raducanu, again, 5th in overall win percentage. You look for her tour level win percentage. She trails Seles, Hingis, Sharapova, Serena, Venus, Clijsters, Capriati, Andreescu, and Enin, but she is over the 70% number. She's at 72%. That's not a terrible list to trail. Of course, she's 2nd in terms of record against top 100, trailing only Seles, much smaller sample size. Technically 1st in her records against the top 50 and the top 20, but she's played fewer than 10 matches against that sort of competition, so you kind of want to throw those numbers out. At the same time, it's elite company that Emma Raducanu's keeping. When she's in that, Serena, Sharapova, Seles, not quite in the Seles, I would say, and I'm blanking here, Hingis discussion, they're kind of in a tier of their own, but she's certainly messing around in that Serena, Sharapova tier. There's a tier of Clijsters, Enin, Capriati as well. Even if her success diminishes a little bit and she goes into that tier, I mean, if your worst case scenario right now by the numbers is Kim Clijsters, Justine Enin, you're probably doing something right. So again, it's hard not to get excited about 18-year-old and 2021 U.S. Open champion Emma Raducanu.